Good morning, friends. How are you this morning? Hope you're doing well. Hope the day is good on this blustery gray day. It what is it they say about March? In like a lion, out like a lamb, or is that May, or is that April? What is it? Which one is that? Somebody's gonna tell me. I can't remember now. But in any case, we are this as we're wrapping up the end of February. And nearly getting blown away. You know, I drive a little car, and it's kind of fun getting picked up and set in the other lane, whether you like it or not. It's March. Thank you. Thanks, Kristen. I knew you. I was like, I would expect you to know. Like, you're smarter than the rest of us. So, yes. So yeah. So March is coming a couple days early and coming in like a lion. Here we are on the second to last day on this leap year, February on the 28th. Glad you're here. Hey, Karen, good morning to you. Glad you're here. Donna, good morning. Glad you're here. It was really a pretty spectacular ride in this morning. Kind of fun. Yep. So I hope you're all enjoying and being buttoned down and out of the wind. And for those of you who contend with power outages, that doesn't turn too badly either. Hi, Phyllis. Glad you're here. Jamie, good morning. You're not that late. You're doing great. Glad you're here. Part of all this. Hope you're doing well. So, good morning, everybody. Have a little mug up before we get going. All right. Good morning, friends. Let's get going this morning. It is the 28th day of February. We have one more day because it is leap year, but today is the 28th day of February at 11:11, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're a part of this. I'm glad to see your little digital faces. And hey, John, good morning to you. Glad you're here. That as we gather this morning, there is this, and the wind blows outside, and this blustery world that we are contending with has something for us. This simple reminder that all storms end, all wind stops blowing, all days give way to sunshine and to beauty and to daffodils that will poke their way out of the snow or the rain. So that's our hope this morning. As I want to talk about this line from John 10:10. It's kind of I came across it by a colleague of mine did a meditation on it, and he took it a little different direction. But it's heard it a million times, but it struck me this morning again of some of the stuff that I think that we're contending with, or that I'm contending with, and that the world as it is, and that we find ourselves in this Lenten tide. And so if you're keeping a discipline for Lent, that's great. I hope you are, and I hope it's going well. I hope you're falling down occasionally so that you have the opportunity to get back up. Not many people hope for that for you, do you? That not just the keeping of it, but the not keeping of it, that you get to experience that piece, because that is part of it. So do not be discouraged if you're keeping a Lenten discipline and the wheels are getting a little rattly. It's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. It is not about being perfect. It is about giving ourselves over to being perfected and to entering into that process and to learning a little bit about how we are and how we might be, and then letting God lead us and help us grow into that holiness. So this morning I want to talk about this John 10:10 line. So the thief, this is Jesus's words. And he says, the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life, and life in abundance. The thief comes only to steal and destroy. We, in our lives, we have thieves that we are contending with all the time. I call them time suckers, and whatever they might be. I think in many ways social media, for as great as it is for us to be able to communicate here and for us to be able to touch base and have this chance to connect, it also can be a time sucker. This way of scrolling. It sucks our time. It sucks our energy. And particularly, it sucks our attention away. Maybe not just from the things maybe that are more important, but it sucks our attention into things that are not life-giving. They're not, we get to be, it can spool us up, politically, or see how things are going to hell in a handbasket, and all of these different ways in which we can tend where it can lead us, and other time suckers and that's just one example. There's plenty out there. But these time suckers are not just suckers of time. Whatever they may be. Maybe we spend a lot of time taking substances. Maybe we spend a lot of time eating food. Maybe we spend a lot of time exercising. Maybe we spend a lot of time, even healthy things get in that time sucker category and those are some of the worst, actually, because those are the ones that, oh well, I'm just staying fit, and we get ourselves over to isolation from people and things that really matter in our lives, or that often the being the good boy or being the good girl is actually worse in some ways than our predilections that would destroy us. But the thief comes to steal and kill and destroy. And so I think there's a metric in here, right? We need to look at what in our lives that when we engage, we come away feeling a little less alive. We are a little less vivified. We are a little less than we were the moment before. What is it that robs from us? Not just robs from us the time that it takes, and I'm going to talk more about that in a second, but robs from us our resources, our truth, our good, our beauty. What is it that destroys the stuff that within us that would actually be about building? What is it that maybe injects hopelessness into a situation where and sometimes these can even be relationships and people that we encounter, and that there are thieves in our life that are looking to steal from us, that are looking to just kill and destroy the true, the good, and the beautiful of our life, who are looking to destroy the places of abundance. Now, I talked about like time suckers, and a good example I think is social media and how we use it or don't use it as a tool or as a distraction. But that's not really what it steals. That's not really what it steals. What it really steals is experience, because of the opportunity costs that come with the thing that we're doing. If we're busy giving ourselves over to something that does not bring life, that steals, that kills or destroys, if we're subject to, if we're subjecting that, if the thief comes along and is stealing those things from us, there is this way in which we're missing all the moments of abundance in which we could experience it. Buckminster Fuller says this. He says, "You never change things by fighting against the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the old model obsolete." You see, we have in our lives this sense of abundance. We wouldn't be alive if we didn't at least occasionally, at least in some places, somewhere in our life, encounter the goodness and the grace of God, encounter the true, the good, and the beautiful. Maybe it's, maybe it's just on a dance floor on a Saturday night. Maybe it's just, with a certain person that we love. Maybe it's just in a small and restricted way. But somewhere in there is something beautiful. There is something in which that it overflows. It brings us more at the end than at the beginning. There's some abundance in that. And that I think we need to be about the business of killing the thief. We need to be about that business. but that business doesn't look what we think it does. This is why the Lenten disciplines that we talk about are actually about taking things out. Because when we remove something, whatever it is we remove, there's actually an opportunity for something else to be built in its place, something more true, something more good, something more that flows initially from our already existing sense of abundance. That we can put something more beautiful that we already have in its place. We can retool the model, not because we just need to be vigilant and we need to fight against our own passions and we need to make sure we destroy all the gnarly stuff within inside of us. And we need to be pure in thought, word, and deed. Friends, one, it's not the journey of life, but it's also not the way in which our souls are built. We must kill the thief. We have to cut it off. We have to prune the vines and the branches, as it says later in John. That we have these things to cut off, but we don't cut them off by pouring ourselves into the cutting off of them, because then we simply lose what little abundance we already do have. What killing of the thief looks like is actually pouring into ourselves the abundance that we already have and making a little more space for it. Bringing into the goodness that we already have and tweaking and tooling the model in which that we might be made new in a little greater way. I remember when I was fishing, there was this time when we would, we had there certain seasons this happened, but the seagulls kind of discovered the bait shack, as they do every once in a while. Then they started getting into the bait, wicked bad. Gobs of seagulls would come in and just start terrorizing the bait barrel, and it went from annoying to actual loss on the bait dock. And so the strategy for that, and again, not advocating this, not saying it's okay, but the strategy for that was actually to kill one of the seagulls. That was actually, and they take that seagull and they put him out there, and one of the old timers there, I was pretty young at the time, and he says, you only have to kill one, because once you kill one, all the rest of them get the message. And again, I'm not advocating, killing seagulls. It's a crime. I get it, but I think there is a metaphor here. There is a truth here about our contending with our own thieves. That when we move one thing, that moves a little bit of thieving, a little bit of killing, a little bit of destroying the good and the true and the beautiful, a little bit of nullifying that which is an abundant part of our soul, ready to take root and ready to blossom. When we claim a little bit of space that way, we don't have to claim it all. We don't have to fight it all. We just have to claim a little bit. That we just have to make the stance and when we do it in one place, and there's actually really good neurobiology around this. That if you're going to read a book on this, it's called The Power of Habit by a guy by the name of Duhigg. Incredible book. But what Duhigg realizes is that when we make one small movement, that actually all the other neural pathways in our head kind of go to work. Is that they actually get permission to live into abundance too, and they actually get permission to begin to move in different ways. That's why, the old saying, nothing succeeds like success. Well, because when we have success in one place, that actually we are hardwired to become more abundant in other places. That it's actually part of our neurobiology. So how do we kill the thief? Rather than take it on a poor seagull someplace, how do we do this? I really believe it. Eckhart Tolle says this. He says, acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation of all abundance. I think it begins with the good that you have. It begins with the truth that you know. It begins with the things that already make you light up. It begins with the things that already bring you joy. That you and really, here's the measure. From the moment you begin the thing to the moment that you end the thing, you feel better. You feel healthy, wealthier, and wise at the time that you end the thing. And I'm not talking about heroin, because by the time you end the heroin, you actually feel pretty awful. Like it's actually a real downside. It's got a big peak and then goes down. I'm not talking about that. This is why hedonism doesn't work, friends. In case we needed to lay that out. But I mean, truly as a measure, like over a long arc, that the sense of from when we begin a thing to when we end the thing, there's actually this sense of abundance. We feel more, we feel more whole, we feel more well, we are filled with beauty and grace. So I think we're in an age right now where there's a lot of seagulls. I think, and they're getting in our bait, and that there is a whole media landscape out there that kind of wants to eat our lunch. There's a whole emotional landscape out there that wants to make us feel bad about whoever we are and whatever we're doing. There's all kinds of different messages out there that want to isolate us and keep us apart from one another. Friends, kill the thief. Kill the thief. And kill the thing that today that you discover as just watch it today. Just pay attention. Just watch and see what you're doing that is stealing from you the true, the good, and the beautiful. That is killing in you the desire for what is hopeful and loving and beautiful and true. That is destroying in you the capacity for wholeness and goodness. That in all of those things, let them just show themselves to you today. Maybe at the end of this, ask God for you to show me the one thing, Lord, you want me, the one thief that you want me to send away. And don't get all fired up about it. Don't pour all your resources into it. Don't go, that's not what it is. But simply make the choice to make a subtle shift towards life. To subtle shift towards the one that comes to you. Remember, Jesus says, I came that they may have life, and life in abundance. That you may have life. And Jesus comes to you to give you life, to give you beauty, to give you joy, to give you wonder. All in our jaded little hearts, all in our difficult little places. And our invitation is to participate in that in the most basic and most crude of ways. And if we get the chance to kill the thief and reclaim that ground for the good and the true and the beautiful that is taking root in your life, and let it take over a little further. All right, friends, that's my hope for you today. We'll pick it up tomorrow on Leap Day, once every 4 years. Here we are. On February, as we come up to, we are, by the way, approaching the this is going to be the 4 year anniversary, I think, of 11/11. For 3 year anniversary coming up. Yeah, so pretty exciting. So we got a birthday coming up here in a few weeks too. A little something to think about. Something. All right. Peace and grace to you, my friends, and I will pick it up tomorrow with another 11/11.